like this when I tell you to stop. If I have to think.
You have to think?
Yeah. Or I'll
Okay.
cut.
Okay.
I'll go like this with my toe.
You'll go like that with your toe? I'll look for your toe. Okay. Let's start off with the first question. So can you tell me your name and your date of birth?
Okay, Nancy Reyes. Date of birth is February 1, 1951.
Can you tell me how you got your name?
Actually, I think my sister named me, your Aunt Nana. I was born on St. Ignace Day, so that's when I got the name Ignacia, but everybody calls me Nancy.
All right, can you tell me where you grew up?
I grew up on 345 West 15th Street, and I've lived here in Holland all my life. I was born in Texas, but I was brought up in Holland.
How many siblings did you grow up with?
12, or actually 11. 6 boys and 5 sisters.
Nancy was a year older than me. She was born in 51. I was born in 52.
And from like she's number 3, I'm 7th.
We're Nancy's daughter.
Daughters.
Daughters. I'm her only daughter.
What was life like with all of your siblings?
Interesting. It was chaotic. I mean, I can't say it was like easy. We were never bored. We always had somebody to play with.
It was awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't see anybody being like the only child.
If you don't get your mom and dad's attention.
We really did need friends because we had each other.
Sometimes I felt lost. My older siblings would say, "Where were you? I don't remember seeing you."
It was exciting to me. I did. I don't think I was ever bored.
Nancy grew up with a big family. Could you imagine if growing up with 11 siblings?
No.
Oh God, no.
Oh, no.
I mean, I don't know.
Really?
I always wanted them to love me, but you know, Carrie always wanted to be an only child.
I did.
I think I could have handled it.
I did.
What did you used to do for fun?
As a kid, we played baseball on the streets. We used to take our heels off our shoes just to play hopscotch.
There was an old catalog. We cut them out, and those were our little paper dolls, you know.
Crack the whip or something like that, where we would stand in line and we would go real fast. And the last one is the one that always got. We would whip that person. Peggy got hurt that time. We all got into trouble because Peggy ended up dislocating her shoulders, I think.
How did your other siblings treat you?
Okay, I don't think I had any trouble with any of them, really.
I teased her a lot. Anybody from below me was at the blunt of all my jokes.
My brother didn't want to play with me because I was a girl, and Nancy and Peggy because those were 2 sisters that got along and were always plotting and everything and want to hang out together. The only time they included me is when they were arguing. And so then that's when I became a favorite of Nancy's and favorite of Peggy's.
So I think we got along pretty good.
Who was the biggest troublemaker in the family and why?
I know they're gonna say me.
Well, out of the girls, it would have been Nancy. She was always getting in trouble.
What is it, that Ash Friday or Ash Wednesday? I remember Peggy and I, we asked my dad if we were gonna go. I don't know who was driving. None of us had driver's license, but I don't know, somebody was driving. So we go to Fenville instead. We didn't go to church. So then we're going we're ready to go back home. Hey, church should be done. And we go in that ashtray and we put the ashes in our forehead. And I walk in and with a, cigarette mark on with like a cross. And then Dad goes, "Did you go to church?" "Yeah, Dad, look. And he goes, "You lie." Remember how he used to say that? "You lie." He goes, "No, they didn't. They didn't get the stuff that they were supposed to." And here I had that dirt, the ashes on my forehead, so I got caught. Yeah, there's things I probably did. Crazy things like teenage girls do.
Your grandma was the troublemaker.
What kind of things were you able to get away with?
We could go anywhere we really wanted to because there were so many of us. I don't think they missed us. Like, we could go be at the park late at night. We could play outside late at night. Mom really was just kind of left us, with our brothers, our older brothers.
How do you see children different nowadays than when you were a kid back then?
I think it's scary because you have more things that keep you occupied versus like just being family, I think it's lost. It's you know, it's lost. I don't think I see the kids hang out with their mom and dads, or, you know, and I see it. And maybe I didn't either because I work, but I don't think it was that bad as it is today, where I see kids are always on their phones at the table. No matter where you go, they're on their phones. I think kids have just lost that, or families have.
Can you tell me one of your wildest stories?
One of my wildest. I guess I can probably tell you this. No, I better not, because you guys might try it. Some of the crazy things we did as kids, my brother would drive and it was snowy, and we would all hang on the fender in the back, and we'd go sliding in the back.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and we would never think of him stopping, or where somebody could get hurt. That didn't even cross our mind, but we used to slide in back of the cars when it was snowing. Another thing I did, I don't know how old I was, but I remember in the kitchen, there was some trash there. And in the trash, I got a match, and I lit the trash can, and my dad comes in, and the fire started. I didn't know how to shut it off, and my dad did. But I quick ran out of there when the fire started. So that was another crazy thing I did. I never told them that I did it. I just quick ran out of there when I saw the fire was getting bigger. Kind of got scared.
What was your favorite childhood memory with Nancy?
I don't remember. I don't remember any. Oh, I know. We had a sister, Peggy. We would be walking to school, and I would always try to get her mad and upset. Nancy and I would go up to her and say, "Can you check my nose? Is it clean? Is it clean? Before we go into school, is it clean?" And that would just get Peggy all riled up, and that's what Nancy and I would do. We would walk behind Peggy and run up to her and say, check her nose.
The thing when she had the bug, she'd let me drive some of the times. We had fun with that. And then the Mach 1 came along. That was even more fun.
Do you remember your first heartbreak?
Well, yes, I do. I was with Richard de Luna. We were engaged, and he broke it off, and I was really torn apart.
You were engaged?
Yeah, for not very long.
When did that happen?
I was probably 18 maybe then maybe 19. I know it was after I graduated, and I was engaged, but not for very long.
How did you meet Grandpa Joe?
Well, I was with some friends and Linda. I think I had Sandra with me. I think she was on my lap. And we were downtown Holland, and we were just riding around. I want to say it was even a Friday night. The girls had said, "Oh, there's so-and-so, the birth of my friend." I think she knew who it was because she said she had seen him before. Anyway, that's how we met. We stopped and talked to him, and then he came to the house. But I had told him my name was Billy. I don't know why I did, but I remember him saying, "Come to the house and ask him for Billy." And I heard Richard say, "There's nobody by that name here." But yeah, that's how we met.
What did you think of Joe when Nancy first brought him around?
I was mad.
Him and I did not get along.
I was mad because Nancy was always so pretty, and all the guys always wanted her, and so when I first saw Joe go by in the car, I go, he's mine, Nancy, he's mine.
I got along with him. I liked him. He never said nothing wrong to me, but it was just a feud. And it didn't come out until we met each other on the opposite side of a softball field.
And Nancy goes, "No, I saw him too." So he went for Nancy, of course, and as I said, I wasn't very happy about that.
I really went to everybody in my team, and I said, "I do not want to lose to that guy." And he went and did the same thing to his team and got on their butts. We just battled it out till we ended up taking the trophy. There you go. And that's when we started slowly on merging together, and then he was my best hunting buddy.
As a brother-in-law, we come to love the in-laws, and so our family had taken him in.
And we'd be out in the woods and bonding. And then he would always say, "It don't get any better than this." We had a good time. I missed him. I miss him a lot now.
Can you tell me about a time when your mom embarrassed you?
Probably when she tries to talk.
I remember how she always sang the Spanglish. She always
It's just gotten worse with age, but I'm sure she embarrassed us all the time when we were teenagers. You're always embarrassed by your
Oh,
parents.
yeah.
I could tell you a time when she slapped me once.
What?
Really?
I told my mom to shut up once,
That was one time, right?
and she slapped me across the face. And I never did it again.
Why'd you tell her to shut
I
up?
don't know, I was a teenager, like 11, 12, thought I was big stuff. I was like, shut up.
You're like,
Never again. My aunt did that too to me.
what did you say to him?
I told her I didn't have to listen to her because she wasn't my mom. And she slapped me too.
Everything's I'm the sassy one.
Can you tell me about some of your camping trip stories?
Your grandpa Joe bought some land. He bought 30 acres. Him and some friends of his from Chicago, they bought land. It was 30 acres, and there was a trailer there. But mostly we stayed in there for a long time until started getting like mice and stuff. But oh, it was so much fun. Joe would take the girls there before I got out of work because I always worked by third shift, and the girls would go and with Joe, and I know they hated it, but because they were like. There was nothing really there to do until he got the quads.
We used to hate it to go because we
We hated it when we were teenagers, but when
Yeah.
we were younger, I think we liked it.
Oh yeah, we liked it.
I think they really enjoyed it, but they, how they want to just give Joe a hard time, Grandpa Joe. But I liked that I didn't have to do anything. He did all the cooking.
I just remember 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, going on long trail rides.
Fishing, we went swimming, well, bathing. Swimming/bathing.
We'd wash our hair.
And we wash our hair in the lake. A bunch of Mexicans in the lake. Dad's over there, Grandpa's over there washing his hair in the lake.
In the
Come on,
lake.
girls,
We
let's
bring our
fight.
shampoo and just lather up,
Yeah.
wash our hair.
So it was more like family time for us, I think. And just getting away from Holland.
Just being out there and getting away from everything, like nothing. I don't know, it was fun. I don't think I ever regret going and doing that. I mean, I wish we did that more with like our kids now, which I don't think we do that because it's so different.
What's the biggest thing you learned from your parents?
What I learned, I think we all did, the discipline to work and the ethics of working.
Respect. I think that would be the first thing that they taught us, and love one another and stand by one another no matter what. And I think that we have done that, and I think we're still close like we were when we were younger.
We all started working at an early age. You guys got your spring break. We ended up in the fields. That shows now because we all worked hard to try to stay in one plant, being into that job to survive and then get what we have now. I think it worked out good.
What does Nancy mean to you?
Breakfast.
Support any problems I have. I talk to my sister.
She's so strong, and she's been a great example, I think, for us as mothers and just as women.
If I have a question of how to handle something, I will bring it up to her and ask her, what do you think regarding anything that's going on with me, either my health or, my daughter.
I think one saying that I think we both always remember them saying is, they would always tell us, like Aunt Eva. I'll never forget.
It must be a beautiful story.
Because I can't even think of it right now.
You always stand on your own 2 feet.
Stand on your own 2 feet. There it is. Oh my God.
You're an Areola. You're my daughter. You can do it. You don't depend on anybody.
There was a little stage where me and Nancy did bond. We wrote letters to each other because we were in the same situation. We were both struggling in life. Me and Nancy turned out that I'm older and she's younger, but yet we were at the same stage where we got screwed up. It took a little while, but we both ended up straightening our lives out and continue on.
And she's supportive in everything that I do.
And she's a beast.
She is. I mean, look at her.
A
She's
beast.
she will do it all. Definitely the glue of our family, that's for sure.
All right, and then the last question. What does being a grandma mean to you?
I enjoy it. I like helping out my daughters with their kids. We have boys now, which I've never had boys before, and that's different. It's totally different than the girls. The girls were just mellow. The boys are different. And my mom did it for a long time, and I guess I can follow in her footsteps and do what I can. And my mother did speak English, and I'm glad that we had that communications with the grandkids. And I want to make memories with them too, you know, that they can say, I remember Grandma would do this, or just like I do with my mom. You know, my mother, we all have memories with my mother, and I hope my grandkids have memories with me. And I just enjoy it.